Ever get that feeling, like when you're looking up at the stars on a really clear night,
Mhm.
and it just hits you how vast everything is?
Yeah,
Almost makes you, yearn for something, doesn't it?
it does.
Or maybe you felt this sort of emptiness sometimes, like
Right.
a quiet hum that says, there's got to be more, even when your everyday life feels pretty full already.
It's a very human thing, isn't it?
It is
Yeah.
that human search for meaning, for something deeper.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Oh, it's a deep one. This need to understand why we're here. It's everywhere you look throughout history. We build these amazing civilizations, achieve all these incredible things.
Right.
And yet, those big questions about our purpose, they just keep coming back.
They do. And in this deep dive, we're turning to an ancient body of wisdom that claims to have some answers, at least from its perspective.
Mm.
The wisdom of Kabbalah. Now, for anyone who's new to this, Kabbalah is essentially a collection of Jewish mystical teachings.
It's a way of understanding the relationship between what it calls God, or the creator, and the universe, the world we experience.
It offers a framework, a way to see life's biggest mysteries.
Exactly. And when we say mystical, we mean these are teachings that you often grasp on a deeper level, often through study and reflection.
Yes. It's not about secrets being hidden from you, but more like layers of understanding that unfold as you go deeper.
Right. So our mission today is to unpack some of Kabbalah's central insights. We're going to see what it has to say about the meaning of your life, your place in the grand scheme of things.
Maybe even uncover a truth you've been searching for all along.
Exactly. And this isn't just some abstract philosophy. It gets surprisingly practical, too, like a way for you to understand yourself and the world around you.
It is. It's a journey, a new way of looking at things.
It is. Okay, let's go back to the very beginning. According to Kabbalah, we're talking about a time, before our universe as we know it even existed. What was there then?
Well, the Kabbalistic texts talk about a state of pure oneness, an infinite force, often simply called the Creator.
Gotcha.
Now, this isn't a being in the way we typically think of it, like a person.
Not the old guy in the clouds.
No, not at all. Think of it as pure, limitless potential, pure energy.
Pure energy.
Kabbalah really emphasizes that the Creator is beyond our comprehension, beyond form or any limit we can imagine. Its core characteristic, its essence, is this will to bestow,
A will to bestow.
a constant desire to give, to share its infinite goodness.
Okay, so if you have this boundless force that only wants to give,
Yes,
who's there to receive?
that is the big question. See, according to Kabbalah, this very desire to give led to the creation of something that could receive.
Interesting.
Not physical matter or energy as we know it, but the first will to receive.
The will to receive, that sounds pretty foundational.
It's the core of everything, really. Everything we are, everything we experience.
Wow.
And it wasn't just passively created. It was designed with the desire to receive, like the first vessel, perfectly made to hold the Creator's goodness.
So this first creation, filled with the Creator's giving force, what was that state like?
It's described as a state of pure bliss, absolute unity, no lack, no separation, total fulfillment.
Sounds pretty nice.
It was. But in that perfection, the vessel was passive.
Passive.
Like, imagine a baby being completely cared for.
Yeah.
No effort needed.
Right.
No awareness beyond that immediate comfort. But that's not the dynamic universe we see now, is it?
No, not quite. And that's where things get really interesting, right? Kabbalah talks about this shattering of the vessel. What happened? What changed?
Okay, so within this will to receive, something started to shift. The vessel, in all its bliss, became aware not just of the pleasure, but of the giver, of the Creator bestowing all this goodness.
And that awareness sparks something in it. Questions, maybe.
Exactly. Big questions, the kind we still ask today, like, what's my purpose if I'm just receiving? Why am I constantly taking without any effort? And then this yearning emerged, a desire to become like the Creator, a giver, not just a receiver.
To move beyond just taking, that's a powerful thought.
It is. And this yearning, it's the catalyst for everything that came next, including us. It's what led to the shattering.
The shattering.
The vessel broke apart. It divided into countless fragments.
Oh, that's dramatic. Why? A shattering.
Well, it's seen as necessary, you see, because each fragment, each piece of that original vessel now embarks on its own unique journey.
Each piece.
These are the individual souls, each carrying that hidden desire to reconnect with the Creator, to return to that unity.
So all the separation we see around us, this feeling of being disconnected, it's not just random.
Not according to Kabbalah. It's the root of creation itself. Consciousness, desire. They became these purposeful fragments, each one, you, me, everyone, meant to rediscover that oneness through effort and experience.
So we're not just here by chance. Our existence has a deeper purpose, a spiritual journey back to wholeness.
Exactly. Creation isn't just the universe appearing out of nowhere. It's this unfolding process, a descent from unity into this world of seeming separation, where we as souls feel disconnected, searching for meaning.
Okay, but the shattering, it sounds kind of painful. Why was it necessary? Couldn't we have just stayed in that blissful, unified state?
Well, here's the thing. Only by going through this process, by struggling to rise above that will to receive, can we truly understand the Creator. If goodness is just given without any effort or understanding, it's not truly ours.
Mm-hmm.
The shattering creates space for individual experience, experiencing lack so we can appreciate abundance, separation so we can truly yearn for unity.
So the difficulties we face, they're not just random obstacles in our way.
Each of us has a unique path, challenges, opportunities, all designed to help us transform that inherent will to receive into a will to bestow, to give. It's how we reconnect with that original unity.
This is a pretty different way of looking at things. To help us understand this journey a bit more, Kabbalah talks about these 4 levels of existence. What are those all about?
Oh, the 4 levels. They're a framework for understanding how life unfolds, from the simplest forms to the human soul. Each level contains the seeds of the next, all ultimately leading towards connection with the Creator. They go from the inanimate to the vegetative, then the animal, and finally the human.
Okay, break that down for us. Let's start with the inanimate level. What's that like?
Picture like a vast desert
Yeah.
or a still mountain range.
Okay.
This level is everything without independent movement or desire as we think of it. Stones, minerals, planets, stars, just existing, being sustained. Their connection to the Creator's light is there but hidden, barely perceptible.
Pure existence. Then what about the vegetative level, like plants? What changes there?
With plants, you see the beginning of growth,
Yeah,
change.
right.
They emerge, seek sunlight, draw in nutrients. They're more than just matter. They have this inner drive to flourish, to grow, to reproduce. But it's still mostly instinctive, automatic. A plant doesn't choose how to grow the way we do.
Right, right. But it is a step up. And then we move to the animal level. What's different there in terms of desire?
Now, animals, that's a big leap. They have free movement.
Yeah.
They interact directly with their environment.
Yeah.
They hunt, protect their young, react to pleasure and pain. The will to receive gets much stronger here.
It does, yeah.
It's tied to survival, a desire not just to exist, but to actively live. And they have individuality, feelings, and even some awareness. But it's still mostly instinct, not the kind of conscious thought or deeper longing that humans have.
Okay, instinct and survival are key there. Then we get to the human level, often called the speaking level. What sets that apart?
The human level. It's not just another step in biological evolution. It's an evolution of desire itself. We have all the desires from the previous levels, of course.
Yeah.
But we have something more. Self-awareness, a yearning for meaning, a desire to understand our place in it all. We're not content with just instincts. We question, we create, we want to transcend our immediate needs. We can contemplate infinity, feel compassion. Our minds and spirits can reach for something far greater. Human desire gets so complex, so layered, because we're aware in this way. And then there's free will, this ability to choose how to act, how to shape our lives, our spiritual journey.
A lot to grapple with. So this hierarchy, from the inanimate up to us, why is it important for understanding Kabbalah?
It shows us the evolution of desire. Kabbalah teaches that it's through refining and expanding our desires that we draw closer to the Creator's light. The inanimate desires to exist. The plant seeks growth. The animal wants to live and thrive. But as humans, we uniquely seek something beyond ourselves. We ask those big why questions. And this hierarchy is like a roadmap showing us the path of awakening, leading us towards the Creator.
And at this human level, we're not just along for the ride. We can actively participate in our spiritual growth. That's a pretty powerful idea. So with all this in mind, how do we actually begin this process of reconnection? What does this spiritual work involve?
Kabbalah teaches that every soul has this ultimate purpose, to reunite with the Creator. But it's not passive. It requires effort, inner transformation. They call it spiritual work. There are a few key parts to this work that can really help us on our journey. Awakening the point in the heart, transforming our desires, and recognizing the role of the collective.
Okay, let's start with awakening the point in the heart. What exactly is that?
Think of it like this. It's that spark within you that longs for something more,
Okay.
a yearning that goes beyond just material things that asks, is there more to life than this?
I think a lot of people feel that even when things seem pretty good on the surface.
Exactly. And Kabbalah sees this as a divine spark in each of us, a desire for purpose, for connection with the Creator. Everyone has it, though it might be hidden until something awakens it, like a challenging experience maybe, or a change in perspective. It's your soul's wake-up call urging you to question and seek something deeper.
The beginning of the journey. And then what about transforming our desires? So that sounds like a big one. How do we even start with that?
This is really central to Kabbalah. Desire is the driving force behind everything, right? Our motivations, our actions. In its natural state, our desire is mostly self-centered. We want comfort, pleasure, security, all normal human things.
Of course.
But Kabbalah teaches us to refine and elevate these desires, to shift from wanting only for ourselves to wanting for others, for connection, for unity. It's about moving from me to we.
That sounds kind of counterintuitive sometimes, to be honest.
It is. Our ego is always pulling us back towards self-interest. But the practice is about recognizing those ego-driven desires and transforming them into actions rooted in giving, in compassion. Think of it like this. When you genuinely help someone, you're helping a part of yourself. When you bring joy to others, you experience a deeper joy in return. It requires honesty with yourself and a commitment to acting in ways that align with the Creator's qualities. Selfless giving, unconditional love.
So it's about a change in perspective, seeing ourselves as connected, not separate.
Exactly. And when you start to see things that way, your relationships change. Your actions have more purpose. You find deeper fulfillment that doesn't depend on external things. It's a way to bridge the gap between our earthly selves and our spiritual potential.
That's amazing. And this leads to the third key point, the role of the collective. How does that fit in? It seems like such an individual journey.
Right, the inner work is crucial, but Kabbalah also emphasizes that spiritual growth isn't meant to be solitary. It's a collective journey. Like imagine we're all cells in a larger body.
Yeah.
We're all interconnected, influencing and being influenced by the whole. In Kabbalah, this isn't just a metaphor. It's a truth that underlies everything. Our souls are bound together, sharing a common origin. So when we approach spiritual work with this in mind, we see that our individual growth is tied to our connections with others.
So our everyday interactions with people, they're not just random.
No, they become opportunities for growth. Each encounter is a chance to practice patience, empathy, forgiveness. We learn to see ourselves in others, to move beyond judgment and differences, and to practice compassion. It's even said that the Creator can only be truly known through the love between people. That's powerful.
That's really powerful.
So it's not about isolating ourselves. It's about engaging with the world in a conscious way, using every interaction to learn and grow. When we work together, support each other, we create a collective energy that accelerates our spiritual progress. And Kabbalah has a specific example of this, the minyan.
I've heard of that.
It's traditionally a gathering for prayer, but in Kabbalah, it can also refer to a group that studies together. They become like a unified soul, resonating more powerfully with the Creator's light. This principle applies beyond study groups, too. Every connection we make with family, friends, even strangers can be part of our spiritual work.
Okay, that makes sense. So these 3 points, awakening the heart, transforming desires, the role of the collective, it's like a map for the journey.
Exactly. It's a lifelong journey of learning and refining, of connecting more deeply. Each step, no matter how small, brings us closer to our true essence, to experiencing the Creator.
This is definitely shifting my understanding of a lot of things. And speaking of understanding, Kabbalah has a very unique take on our perception of reality. It's not quite what we usually think it is, right?
You could say that again. See, in Kabbalah, the reality we experience every day isn't an objective picture of what's out there. It's more like a reflection, a mirror, constantly showing us our own inner state.
So the world we see, touch, feel, that's not the whole picture.
According to Kabbalah, no. What we perceive is actually a construct of our ego, built on this idea of separation. From childhood, we're taught that we're distinct individuals, separate from everything else.
Right.
But that feeling of separateness, as real as it seems, is actually an illusion. We're interconnected, part of a unified whole. Stepping outside the box, then, means seeing past this illusion of individuality, recognizing the deep interconnectedness that exists beneath the surface.
That sounds like a huge shift in perspective. How do we even start to do that?
Kabbalah suggests shifting our focus from the outer appearance of things to their deeper essence. It's like the analogy of an iceberg.
Oh, yeah.
The tip we see above water, is the everyday world.
Mm-hmm.
Objects, events, people.
Right, right.
But beneath the surface is this massive unseen part. That's where the true reality lies, according to Kabbalah. The underlying forces, the intentions, the energy that sustains everything. By focusing on that deeper part, we start to glimpse the interconnectedness of it all.
So what is that deeper reality like? What do we see when we start to perceive it that way?
One of the key concepts Kabbalah uses is Ein Sof, which means the infinite. This refers to the Creator's boundless light, the essence that flows through all of creation. In our everyday awareness, we're often too distracted to notice this infinite presence.
Hmm.
We get caught up in the small stuff, but stepping outside the box means becoming sensitive to this light, tuning into the eternal essence within everything. When we see reality this way, we understand life's challenges and joys in a new light. It's not just random chaos. Everything has purpose. Every moment is a chance for growth and connection.
Wow. So it's about finding meaning in everything.
Yes, and it's about recognizing that true reality is actually benevolent. Everything is designed to help us grow and reconnect with the Creator. It's about seeing through the illusion of separation and fear and recognizing the beauty and interconnectedness of it all. This shift doesn't happen overnight, of course.
Right.
It's a gradual process.
Right.
As we cultivate love, compassion, and align ourselves with the Creator's purpose, the illusion fades, and we see a reality far more beautiful than we could have imagined.
That's a really hopeful way to think about it. Lastly, Kabbalah is often called the science of the soul. Why is that?
It's called that because it approaches spirituality with a systematic rigor, like a scientific discipline.
Interesting.
It's not just about faith or belief, it's about exploring the universe, the soul, and the Creator through study and experience.
So there's a practical application. It's not just theory.
Exactly. Kabbalah sees the universe operating according to specific laws, just like the physical world has laws of physics. There are spiritual laws that govern energy, consciousness, even divine intention. These laws are consistent, predictable, and influence everything, from our personal lives to the cosmos.
Wow.
The whole universe is designed to reveal the Creator's nature to us, you see. So studying Kabbalah is like scientific exploration. Each insight, each experience brings us closer to truth. And through practices like meditation and studying ancient texts, it's said we can even attain higher states of consciousness.
And how do they measure progress in this spiritual science?
Well, they talk about developing a new sense, a heightened awareness that lets you perceive these higher spiritual realms.
Interesting.
It's not just about belief, it's about direct experience, about verifying these truths for yourself. And the Kabbalistic texts, like the Zohar and the Tree of Life, aren't just abstract ideas. They're seen as precise descriptions of spiritual realms, the structure of the soul, the flow of divine energy.
Like blueprints.
In a way, yes. They're guides for practice, for understanding.
So it's all about experience.
Ultimately, yes. The goal is personal transformation, aligning ourselves with the Creator's will, moving towards oneness. And this process is seen as systematic, predictable, like a spiritual experiment.
I see.
The amazing thing is, the experiences and insights of Kabbalists can be shared, discussed, even verified by others.
That's fascinating.
It's a tradition of shared wisdom passed down through generations. So studying Kabbalah is like becoming a scientist of your own soul. It takes discipline, curiosity, and a willingness to question, explore, and experience those deeper realities within ourselves.
This has been an incredible deep dive. As we wrap up, what's the one thing you really want listeners to take away from this?
The most important thing to remember is this. Each of you carries a spark of the Creator within, a divine essence waiting to be awakened. You are not separate from that source.
We're all connected.
Exactly. And Kabbalah is about awakening that spark, aligning ourselves with that greater whole, and living with more purpose, compassion, and meaning. If this has sparked your curiosity, I encourage you to explore further. Kabbalah is a vast well of wisdom, and with each step you take on this path, the meaning of your life will become clearer. The world is a mirror, reflecting our inner state, And as we transform ourselves, we can change the world in amazing ways.
That's a beautiful thought.
So keep asking those big questions. Never stop seeking. Commit to learning and growing. Because Kabbalah is ultimately about discovering yourself. And in that discovery, you can find true peace, love, and purpose.